So you all have your date on there. Copy this problem down. Now this one's going to help for your computation sheet. We've done a few of these, but we still need to do more because this is kind of new information for most of us. We'll do this one first. 57 times 92 hundredths. I'm not sure. Probably the Wi-Fi. 57 hundredths times 92 hundredths. Does it matter which number goes on the top when you solve it? It doesn't. I usually put the bigger number on top when I'm solving, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to put the 57 hundredths on top. Multiply it by the 92 hundredths. And now, who remembers last time we discussed this? How do we multiply these? We have two decimal numbers, but what do we need to remember about doing or not doing when we discussed it last time? How do we multiply them? Anyone? Hallie? We don't change the decimals place, no, but thank you. How do we multiply them? Anybody? Come on, Clara. Yeah, just multiply them as if it's 92 and 57. Ignore the decimals for the time being. We don't put anything down in the answer like if we were adding or subtracting. So let's multiply this as is without worrying about the decimals. Someone walk us through the first two steps. Fitch?
2 times 7 equals 14.
Yep.
So you put 4 below and remove the 1.
Thank you. And circle it, folks. Then what?
2 times 5 equals 10.
Plus is 11, and we just put those right next to the 4. That's step 1. 2 is done wrestling, so 2 takes his spot on the bench. What are the next two steps, Samuel? And you get 63, regroup, and you get plus 6 is 51, and that goes below. We just add it up as is to get our digits, and then we'll put the decimal in the right spot in the end. What do we get when we add those up, Elian? Someone else? Elian? Correct. Now, where do we put our decimal? Who remembers that step? This is where it's a little different. It's not difficult. You just have to look, really. You have to look and be able to count. Rev?
In between the 2 and 4?
Not between the 2 and the 4. No. Close, kind of. How many decimals are there, folks? 2 of them. And how many numbers are to the right of both decimals? In all, 4. So that means we start on the right and count over 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 decimals, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces in all. So we count over 4 spaces. So what is our answer? Who can read this answer? Clara? 10 thousandths. Very good. So if you think about that, we just got even smaller. We had 2 numbers in the hundredths, which are larger than this. We multiplied those together, and we have a smaller number because you're really dividing when you're multiplying. Let's try one more of these because that seemed to be a little bit of an issue. Let's do 79 hundredths times 5 and 23 hundredths. So with this one, which number should we put on the top? Zach, which number should we put on top?
5 and 2300.
Why? That's what I would do too. Why would you?
It's the bigger number.
It is the larger number, and it's the number that has the most digits, which always won't be the case. Make sure you're getting this, sir. You can't describe it and not do it. What's going to go below then, Chase?
79.
Yes, and we don't line up the decimals. In this case, it just happens to be that way. Just put the digits where they belong. And then we multiply. Follow along. Who wants to lead us through this one? Fitch, first 3 steps.
9 times 3 equals 27.
7 goes below. What do you do with 2?
Regroup it.
Regroup it.
9 times 2 equals 18 plus 2 equals 20.
Yep.
Regroup the 2.
Yep.
9 times 5 equals 45 plus 2 equals 47.
Good. Next, what do we got to put down there so we don't forget, Ella?
A 0.
Our placeholder. Who's got the next 3 steps? Obs, thanks.
7 times 3
Yep.
Equals.
which is 21.
21. Regroup my 2.
And then 2 times 7,
7 times 2. Yep. Say the bottom number first, but go ahead. That's right.
14,
Plus 2.
16.
16. Regroup. One more.
7 times 5,
Plus 1 is
36.
36. Add these together, folks, so we can place our decimal in the right spot. What's that going to equal? What are our numbers down there? Cole, what'd you get when you added those up?
30,000.
Rev?
41,317.
Yeah, technically that's what it looks like, right? But it's not because we got to put our decimal in. Where's our decimal going to go now? Look back up to the top. I have 1, 2 decimals. Count all the digits to the right in all, and then put it in the correct spot below. Where's our decimal going to go? Who knows? Fensky.
Between the 4 and the 1.
Yes, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 79 hundredths times 5 23 hundredths is 4 and 1,317 10,000. So we started out with this, which is larger than that, and we multiplied it times this, and we end up with a smaller number, Zach just asked. It is a little confusing. Why has it happened? I already mentioned it.
Because if you're multiplying by like a fraction of something,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have less.
Because you're dividing. When you multiply decimal numbers, you're really dividing them. Because like I taught you in the beginning of the year, this is 79 hundredths of this number. What's this fraction of this? So 79 hundredths of this is that much.
So does that mean when you divide fractions, you're multiplying them?
When you divide fractions, these are decimals.
Or when you divide decimals?
That's a whole nother story. With fractions, you still divide with dividing decimals. And when you divide fractions, this isn't part of our lesson today. 2/3 divided by 1/3, you have to multiply your first fraction with the reciprocal
What's it?
of 1/3. So you would rewrite it like this. 2/3 times reciprocal means what? Any guesses? What's a reciprocal? Any guesses? I don't know if anybody's heard of that. Any guesses what a reciprocal of that would be? Take a guess. Elliot?
Regroup?
No? Carson or Fitch?
A larger number?
No, what? It is. Yep. No, you just flip them. And we end up with 6/3, which equals what? 2. So 2/3 of a third is 2. You multiply by the reciprocal. It's interesting. We won't get into that much or at all this year because that's not in our standards, but in 6th grade you'll get into that. It's pretty, it's just multiplying. It's not that difficult. All right, let's take a look at our Bridges book.